The Academy of Management Perspectives is in some sense a very unique journal. It's a journal in some sense which you submit your ideas, your perspectives, and how you think about the nature of research in your field, how you think others should think about that research. When scholars come to us, they ask, well, whether the Academy of Management Perspectives would publish their research. My reaction to this is typically, no, we don't publish your research, we publish your ideas, your perspectives on scholarship, your perspectives on the field, and your perspectives on how things are moving forward or where they should be moving in the field. So while we are an evidence-based journal, we're also a journal that's thinking much more broadly and in some sense more forward-looking in terms of the nature of ideas and scholarship. As such, we have a different process, so I'm going to spend a bit of time talking about process. Basically, when you're submitting a proposal to the Academy of Management Perspectives, you really have to focus on four things. The first thing you have to focus on is to whom you're writing. Generally speaking, as a scholar, you write to a very narrow group of researchers. But in the case of the Academy of Management Perspectives, we're attempting to essentially take specialist knowledge and move that specialist knowledge out to the non-specialist academic. The other 19,000 members of the Academy of Management, plus other thought leaders in other academic fields. So you have to know very clearly to whom you are speaking. You can't speak to multiple audiences. You really should have a good idea of who your readership is. The second thing you have to focus on is what you really want to speak to about. But that has to be linked into the nature of the audience. In other words, what's the idea that you're attempting to communicate to that audience? And potentially more importantly, why is that idea important to that audience? And a way of thinking about this is to ask yourself the question, if people read my article, how are they going to change their thinking about the nature of the field? This is very different from what you would do in many of the more traditional academic journals, because there you're communicating to a group of specialists about your contributions to specialist knowledge. In this case, what you're doing is you're trying to say something important to a much more general audience. The third thing you have to look at is how am I going to communicate what it is I'm saying to these individuals. This is a very different aspect of the nature of AMP. In our case, what we're focusing on here is evidence-based but accessible knowledge. So we don't necessarily publish primary research studies, but things that synthesize and integrate ideas. We don't exclude primary research studies, but the main point is that, again, you're not going to be talking about a narrow aspect of the nature of research in your area, but more general research and broader impact of that research. The final thing that you have to really focus on is really thinking about the communicability of the nature of the work that you're doing. What this means is that we're not looking for essentially light research. We're not looking for something that is focused on a managerial audience. We're not looking for things that would be potentially available to the wider public. These things may occur. They may be very important to us. But our primary audience is other members of the Academy of Management, and you have to think very carefully on how you're going to influence them. The philosophy of the Academy of Management Perspectives is that we do want to have impact on current thought leaders, future thought leaders. These may include policymakers, students, and others. But the way in which we do this is we communicate our ideas to our constituency, which is the Academy of Management, and from that we push the process forward so that they communicate to the next group of people. So as part of this, you have to look very carefully at what's on the website and the procedures associated with putting a proposal together. This is not just meant to standardize things, but what we find is that individuals who can write a good proposal that meets these criteria are also able to write an article that satisfies the needs of the audience. And this process, which we've put in place over the last several years, has been very effective. We've had significant increases in the downloads, which means we have a very, very large readership. That readership is getting larger by the day. And also, we have a lot of impact in terms of the nature of the academic field. It would be very surprising to many when they would compare the impact factor of the Academy of Management Perspectives, which has only been around for a little over 5 years, with many other more established journals which have been around for a very long period of time. So we're a very impactful journal, but we're also a journal that's looking for a large degree of accessibility. So we appreciate your time and your efforts in watching this video, and we hope very much that you would be willing to consider submitting your materials to the Academy of Management Perspectives. Thank you.